Hi, everyone. This is Shireen Herndon Brown, the admissions expert, and I'm here again today on Tuesday, April 11th, to talk to you about the Common Application and how parents of high school juniors and sophomores for that matter, but particularly juniors, could actually start the Common Application now and create your own account. I'm very excited to tell you this. It's brand new functionality from the Common Application, and I guess it's important that parents are a part of the college application process. So I want us to walk through some of the elements that parents can do in the common application process that I think are extremely helpful. In addition, I will add some extra tips and tricks and some strategies that I think come in handy for students as they're applying to college. So first, I'm going to share my screen. I have a couple of poll questions that I'm going to ask you guys later on today. But first and foremost, let me share my screen. And the first thing we have to do is be honest with each other. Parents, your child depends on you, and you can depend on the common application. It's a very, very thorough tool to help students apply to college. And they have a separate section specifically for parents that I want you to consider using because I think it's really helpful. If you go to commonapp.org /parents, you have all this great information about supporting your child, talking to them about college, using the Common Application with over 700 schools now using it. It is critical, parents, that you are involved in this process. And I really, really think that by going through this document on the Common Application is extremely helpful for you. So again, commonapp.org /parents is where you would go. They also have great points about why students should go to college. How do they get to college? I wanted to show you how to prepare for college, the how you prepare page. There's so many different resources for parents, specifically for parents of students who want to get more information about their kid going to college. Hey, Facebook Live, good to see you. It is very strange talking to strangers around the world, but I'm sharing something with you that I love and that I like to share. So welcome to the party. This is a Facebook tutorial on the Common Application, a parent's guide. This is night number 2. I will be here tomorrow night, same time, as well as Thursday. And I'm going to walk parents particularly, but as students, if you're here, that's great, through elements of the Common Application that I think will be extremely helpful for you. So let's take a quick poll and see how we're doing here. Hopefully, tell me if you can see this. I'm going to launch it. Okay. So there are 3 questions there. One is, did you know that parents could create their own Common Application accounts? It's yes or no. Have your children already started the Common Application? Would you like more information about how the Common Application can help your child? 3 questions. I would love for people to jump in and vote, and I will then collate those responses and then post something on Facebook later on based upon what you voted. So that's a quick poll that you guys should be able to see. I'm going to close it out so I can continue doing what I'm doing. But on your end, yes, attendees are now viewing your questions. No one has voted yet, but please do so that I can be a resource to you. Last night we had a lot of fun. I had fun. It was a few technical hiccups as I learned that I can't do Facebook Live via Zoom and have Facebook open at the same time because I heard an echo. Other than that, I think it was great. I actually had a client tell me that he watched it, and it's always funny when you have a current client who you're sharing this information with on a day-to-day watch you in addition to what you're doing. So it speaks volumes about the good work that we're doing together. And I'm very much looking forward to working with his daughter for the remainder of her junior and into her senior year. Anyway, so let's continue. Let's get right in. 9:05. I know I'm not going to be here all night. I want people to go to bed eventually, but I also want to be thorough in everything that I do. So we're going to log in. Parents, you have to log in. Click the student button first. Many of you, I hope, have created an account. We talked about that yesterday. Just to review, if you get to this page and it says create an account, what you want to do is create an account And then it gives you the option of student, education professional, parent, or other adult, okay? Very, very important that you see that. I'm gonna highlight it with my little pointer again. Here are the options that you have, and I think it's critical that you check the right one first as you're creating the account, and then you will be able to select it appropriately. Whoops, okay? You'll hit continue. I didn't click anything. I'll click parent. I'm not going to go through all this again, but you see very clearly you're creating a practice account. Parents, do not be afraid that you're somehow going to affect your child's college application by creating this account. This is a practice account for you to see what they ultimately have to do, and it's great to have you kind of knowing how you can help them in the process. So again, you will confirm that this is a practice, and then you have to fill in a whole bunch of stuff. We did a lot of this last night. If you'd like to watch a video of it, it should be on our Facebook page, Strategic Admissions Advice on Facebook. It is also on YouTube, at our YouTube channel, Strategic Admissions Advice. We are building our YouTube library every day, every week. I'm really excited about that. Got somewhat of a slow start, but I'm on it. And we'll go from there. So I'm going to erase this. And if you're not on Zoom, Zoom is wonderful. I mean, nothing against Skype or WebEx or whatever else you use as a tool. I'm a big Zoom fan, and I hope that they hear me loud and clear on that. Okay, so let me get back to logging in so I can show you what the next steps are for parents in filling out the Common Application. So again, I'm going to log in. Once upon a time, I used to think webinars were all about PowerPoints, and I'm really excited now that there are more to it. We can actually, screen share and do much more with it. Computer's being a little funky, but there we go. So my email address, login information is awesomeparent1@gmail.com. It's what I aspire to be. It's not what I am. I'm sure you are, but I'm trying to be an awesome parent. I mess up more than I should, but I digress. I have an email, a password, which I typed wrong. And I'm going to sign in. Okay. So again, this is the home page for the Common Application. It's a welcome page. It's a dashboard, and it's very, very thorough on what you should be doing. Let me show you one thing. I want to show you the third tab, which is the Common Application tab, but I'm actually going to start with My Colleges. My College is where you will complete work for each college. You must first add a college to your college list. So where you go to college search, which you can get from here or here. I'm going to use my alma mater, which I know some of my alma mater fellow Wesleyan graduates are watching tonight. Go Wes. And we are going to shout out to Kim Cooper for being the class of 1997 representative and receiving a letter recently attesting to that. She's a great media executive, and I'm very proud to be her fellow Wes alum. Wesleyan University, there are many Wesleyan universities in the country. I went to the one in Connecticut, so I'm going to click Wesleyan University in Middletown, Connecticut, and I'm going to add it. Okay. Then I go to My Colleges. When I go back to my dashboard, you'll see that Wesleyan is there. For graduate school, I went to Middlebury College. Hit search. Click Middlebury. Hit add. My Colleges. Okay? Again, for each of the colleges, Wesleyan or Middlebury, ton of information. Okay? The 2017-2018 academic year. These are last year's dates for last year's academic season. The new dates for this year's early decision and regular decision will be available in August, most likely. But as you can see, they're not going to change that much. The Common Application is available now for students and parents to get their hands dirty with it, to become familiar with it, and I encourage you to do so. We are working with all of our students at strategicadmissionsadvice.com to understand the Common Application. So what I really want to get into today is the actual application. There are 6 components to the Common Application, as you can see on the left. Again, I like this little annotate feature that I have with Zoom. So first, we have profile. Sorry, let me change that one. I don't like my this one. Use a bold one. We have family, education. I'm just going to bold it. Testing, activities, and writing. Art was never my thing. Forgive me. And I'm going to change that color too, eventually. All right. So these 6 components of the Common Application, it's important that you know how you can maximize each one. So this is for parents to be filling out now, but ultimately I would fill in this, if I was a student, forgive me, if I was a student, I would fill in my name, which my son's name is Kerry. His last name is Parent. It's really not, it's Herndon Brown. And I would fill in his middle name is Patrick. That he is not a junior. He does have a nickname, which is Trey. Have you ever used any other names? No. Sex assigned at birth. Great question. Given a lot of issues around college applications and transgender, students who identify as such, it is interesting that they're actually going to assign this question, sex assigned at birth. My son was assigned a male, so we will check that. If you would like the opportunity, we invite you to share more about your gender identity below. So again, Common Application is being very clear that they understand in 2017 that students may want to identify as something other than what they were assigned. I feel like there's very big of them and noble of them, and I applaud them for understanding that in 2017, all students need to know that they are appreciated and welcomed and allowed to be who they are. So good stuff for the Common App. Again, forgive my handwriting. Clear my drawing. I put in my birthday, and I'm going to hit continue after I click the mouse. This is my address. I have no alternate mailing address. I'm going to continue with the contact details, my email address, my preferred phone, all these different pieces that are important to the Common Application, your address, your phone number. A lot of this information was inputted when I first registered, and obviously it carried over into this component. Demographics is always intriguing. Oh, let me step back for a second. The goal is to get green check marks on each section in order to get a ultimately green check mark under profile. So let me try that again. For contact details, I need to fill a few things out. That's my mobile phone. I do not have any alternate phone numbers. I hit continue. And now you can see a green check mark by contact details. For each of these, again, I love the Common Application. They are very thorough. They do a great job of explaining things. They give you a preview tutorial. So beyond what I'm doing for you, they will give you their own, ta-da, preview training tutorial. You could technically watch them and not me and probably get equal amount of information. I'm doing this for you because I think that I know I have an audience that may not be aware that this is available. And I love the fact that they are using Marvel Comics in their videos, but I wanted to be able to show this to you because, again, I know that I have people who are watching who may not be abreast. Now that you know, please use the Common Application tools as well. Continuing on, I will X out of that, but it's a very cool tutorial and I will check it out later. What is your religious preference? Many of these questions are optional, okay? So let's be very clear. The religious preference question, you can say you're agnostic, you can say you're atheist, you can say you're Buddhist, Catholic, you can say you're a host of things, Quaker, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, other, Roman Catholic, Scientologist, Seventh-day Adventist. You could put none. So again, colleges are trying to learn what kind of people of religious background are interested in their schools, okay? So I would rather you put something, because if you identify with something, then colleges can know who they're inviting. by no means does this mean that you have to Rastafari. Wow, I did not know. That's new. If you just choose not to, then put none. But I really think that it is advantageous to you to give as much information as possible, particularly if you are someone of some kind of spiritual faith. So I'm going to put for myself, I'm going to put friend Quaker. Yeah, I went to Quaker schools throughout my life, but that would be misleading because I haven't attended a Quaker meeting in a while. So I am Christian. I'm going to say other Christian. Unless they say, do they have a non-denominational? They do not. So I'm going to put other Christian. Specify other religion. Don't have one. Armed force status. Currently serving, previously served, current dependent. No. Am I Hispanic or Latino? My family is actually from Panama, but throughout my life, I've identified as African American. So I'm going to click no. Regardless of your answer to the prior question, please indicate how you identify yourself. American Indian, Alaska Native, Asian, African American, Native American Hawaiian, or other Pacific Islander. I am an African American. Let me go back. It's important that you answer this question. People say, well, I want someone to read my application based on who I am and not my race, because that is leads into affirmative action. I get it. A lot of people have a lot of feelings against for or against affirmative action. If you're applying to college, you need to understand that at some point they're going to learn about your ethnicity, whether it's through your school counselor or they're going to make an assumption about you. You don't want that. You want to be able to be in control of this process as much as you can, including how you identify yourself. So if you're working with strategic admissions advice, I very, very much encourage you to click what you are. That is what I am, and it leads to another question, which best describes your Black or African American background. I am a U.S. African American. My family centuries ago from Africa, but not recently. Caribbean or other. Okay, so I could check Caribbean as well, given the fact that my father's side is from Panama and Jamaica, so I'll actually do that. If you are a white person, let me uncheck these. You can say which best describes your white background. You're from Europe, Middle Eastern, or other. Okay? I don't want to confuse anyone, so I'm going to go back to what I am, which is Black African American, Black African, and Caribbean. Okay? The questions in this section while helpful to colleges, are entirely optional. So they're making that very clear. You don't have to. And you're welcome to move on from answering them. But before you do so, please confirm that you've completed this section to your satisfaction. So again, they're giving you the option of not answering these questions, but you could. Interesting. Country of birth, United States. City of birth, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. State of birth, type in New York. Get that out of my way. Number of years I've lived in the United States. I'm going to pretend like I'm my son because I'm older than 12. Number of years I've lived outside the United States, 0. Okay, this is what I always help students to do. Numbers of language you're proficient in. Operative word, proficient. If you take a foreign language, if your child takes a foreign language in school, Spanish, French, Italian, German, Chinese, there's a good chance that by the time that they're a junior, that they're proficient. They're in probably a level 3, 4, or possibly even 5 going into their senior year. So for me, I took Latin and Spanish. So in addition to English, I was proficient in Latin. I was pretty much more fluent in Spanish. So that's 3. English, Latin, Spanish. Someone says, no, that can't be true. If you are studying for an extended period of time in junior high school and college, a certain foreign language, it is imperative that you correctly identify what you've done. Celebrate your accomplishments. Number of languages you're proficient in, that's 3. Select the language. English is my first language. I speak it, I read it, I write it, and it's spoken at home. Select the language. Spanish. It is not my first language. I do speak it. I do read it, but I don't write it. I don't write it. And it's definitely not spoken at home as much as I think it should be. So I'm not going to lie. Okay? So here we go. Select the language. Let's find Latin. Oops, sorry. It's not Gondan. Okay. So Latin actually isn't even there. But watch this. Other. Latin being a dead language, quote unquote, but being the father or the I guess the foundation for many languages. I would put Latin, which is not spoken throughout the world, but is still widely read. I don't speak it. It's not my first language. I don't write it, and it's definitely not spoken at home. But as you can see, I use this very simple question to tell the colleges, hey, I'm pretty multidimensional as a language speaker. I can speak English, I can speak, read, and write Spanish, and I can read Latin. That attests to what I've learned from my culture, attests that I live in an environment that speaks English primarily, but I've also had some pretty extensive study in Spanish as well as Latin. So I thought that was pretty impressive, and I encourage you to do so as well. So I'm going to hit continue. And as you can see, those wonderful green checks are getting more and more and more. That is the goal. The goal is to get green checks. Select my citizenship status. I am a U.S. citizen. I'm not a dual citizen. I'm not a permanent resident. I'm not a refugee, and I'm not a non-U.S. citizen. Social Security number required if applying for financial aid via the FAFSA. Okay, financial aid is a very, very fundamentally necessary thing for many people in the world in terms of applying to college. Right now, I'm not going to put my real Social Security number here, but I'm going to say, you know what? I am going to apply for financial aid at $60,000 a year for a private university. Excuse me, that would be very difficult for my parents to pay. Again, I am a parent. I know I'm going back and forth between if I'm a student and a parent, but again, I'm showing you the information that students will have to fill out. Parents, fill it out as if you're yourself or for your kid, but you want to familiarize yourself with what information is going to be asked. 555, 555, 555. There's my social, all right? Don't go get a credit card. Do I want technology to indicate that I want to look for scholarships? Absolutely. Am I going to need fee waivers for college? Fee waivers allow students to apply up to 4 schools and waiving the application fee. Applications can range from $25 to $75 just to apply. Thankfully, I will not be needing fee waivers. That is my family situation, is that we do not need it. We will need financial aid, but not for the fee waiver. So I'm going to click no. Okay. If you're more interested in learning more about fee waivers and how to get them, oftentimes guidance counselors at your school can show them to you. And take a quick hit continue. Look at that. Nothing makes me happier than to see this wonderful profile. Look at that. Check. I love seeing the green checks. Okay. Family information, education, testing, activities, writing. It just took us 10, 15 minutes to do the profile information. It's going to take 10 to 15 minutes to do each section. I don't want to bore you to death. I will be back tomorrow night. I thought we'd be a little further this evening, but I want to make sure tomorrow night, I promise, I will jump right in to family, education, and testing so that Thursday night, we can really dive into activities and the essays. But these, as you can see, it takes time. It takes a lot of time, and I think it's important that that you do it. So students, parents, however you're filling this out, obviously, ultimately, the student is going to be the one filling it out, but parents, I'm giving you this demo, this tutorial to show you what information is going to be requested of you. Please, please, please create your own account. There's no harm. You can see it says practice account everywhere. It says practice account. You're going to be okay. I encourage you to do it. If you have any questions, my assistant told me to tell you, inquiry at strategicadmissionsadvice.com. INQUIRY at strategicadmissionsadvice.com. You can also hit us up on Facebook, hit us up on Twitter at College Choices. On Twitter, Strategic Admissions Advice is a little bit too long for a Twitter handle, but Facebook is where we do a lot of interaction with clients, with people who are interested in learning more. So please hit us up on Facebook or email us at inquiry@strategicadmissionsadvice.com. I hope this has been helpful for you. I think today we went over several things. The dashboard is where you will be able to see the colleges that you're considering. I included Middlebury College and Wesleyan University. Those are the schools that I graduated from, undergraduate and graduate respectively. My colleges is where you're going to get information, specific questions for those individual schools. The common application is what we started, and we got our first green check. Congratulations, I'm very happy. And we'll continue to keep going on and on and on. College search is how you get schools to the My Colleges dashboard area. So college search is that. My wife went to Howard University. I believe Howard's on the Common App. There it is. I will add Howard there and hit add My Colleges. So now on my dashboard, I have Howard, Middlebury, and Wesleyan. Excellent. And financial aid resources, again. Look at this wealth of information. They're actively trying to engage parents now about the college application process. Please, please, please consider learning more about the common application and what it offers now, so that when the application season really rolls around in the fall, August, September, October, November, December, that you feel well prepared. There's a ton of resources out there. I want to be a resource for you. Strategic Admissions Advice wants to be a resource for you. Please check us out on Facebook. Please hit us up at inquiry@strategicadmissionsadvice.com. And please come back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at the same time, 9 p.m., we're going to do more common application information, and we're going to share till we can share no more. All right. I want everyone to have a great night. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm having fun. I hope you are too. And I will read the poll questions and figure out how I can respond to them on Facebook. Okay. Have a great night, everyone, and see you tomorrow.